Okay, so we should be coming up here, and some of you may be seeing us already up. I will go ahead and, yeah, looks like we are up here. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to also, we'll hold off on the push notification right now. But for those of you who have seen this live stream, so here's where we're at. We have a storm right now that's been coming across southern New Hampshire, and this storm has been showing signs of rotation. There's no tornado warning with it yet, but the automated algorithm inside of the radar is picking up on rotation, and it shows up very clearly. If we go over to storm relative velocity, there is the rotation on the southern end of the storm. It's lifting just over Windham, New Hampshire right now, and on the north side of Salem. It's just north of Canopy Lake. All right, here's the new scan. Just came in. You can see we've got gate-to-gate shear, which means the wind moving in different directions. Essentially, what you're seeing here is we have the red indicating air moving one way, the green that indicates air that's moving the other. And so your center of rotation is essentially near Salem Road and Rockingham Road, and it's moving up toward Gulf Road. There is no tornado warning with this storm as of right now. What's happened is the storm has been cycling, which means it's been pulsing stronger, then getting weaker, and then pulsing again. So right now it's just in this latest scan. We're going to get them about every minute. It's just come down a little bit in terms of its intensity. It was a fairly strong gate-to-gate shear. In other words, fairly strong bidirectional wind that was showing up as it made its way just to the west of Canopy Lake, and it continues to move off to the northeast right now. It is north of the amusement park, for that matter. Here's Rockingham Road. For a brief time, we did see a bit of a notch that showed up in the center of the storm. The notch appeared right on the south side, I should say, of the storm, which would indicate that there was indeed some sort of rotation that was starting to at least alter the shape of the storm. So that was why I wanted to make sure to hop up and be with you here, at least for the short term while this storm moves northeast. If we zoom out a little bit more, the center of the storm, and this is just ahead of where the rotation has been, should continue to move up towards Sandown at 244, Chester at 245, Fremont at 253, Candia by about 3 o'clock or shortly just after that, and Epping by about 3:02. So again, this is in southern New Hampshire. There is no tornado warning. There's no severe thunderstorm warning with this storm. But the reason that I wanted to come up and be with you right away, you can see keys are still right here. But the reason I wanted to come up and be with you right away is because the storm has been cycling over the course of the last 5 minutes. And again, what I mean by that is it spins up. There you go. Special weather statement now just issued by the National Weather Service here for out of Gray, Maine. They oversee southern New Hampshire. So they're looking at this saying, all right, well, we do have a chance that this thing could turn into something. So it's worth noting, right? Well, I got to tell you, when you get storms like these in this situation, you know, we do have a tornado watch that's out in western New England. I could zoom the view out for you a little bit more, and you'll see the purple and pink area there is your tornado watch zone, and that is across western New England. We did have a report of a rotating wall cloud around Southwick in Massachusetts, western Mass, a short time ago. But what you tend to get with these storms is you have a lot of spin in the atmosphere, and you end up getting a storm that can spin up very quickly. It is extremely humid out right now, so you're talking about what we call a very low cloud base. In the world of meteorology, we say it's a low lifted condensation level, and so what that means is basically your cloud base can form very close to the ground. What that means is you really don't have much time to spare when you see rotation show up inside of a storm. So in this particular instance, we saw good gate-to-gate shear, good rotation in the storm, not enough that a tornado warning was issued by the government, but pretty well pronounced. In fact, one of the things I can do for you is bring you back over to the storm relative velocity and zoom you in a little bit more. We're starting to see some separation now between the red and the green, where you've got air blowing in one direction, air blowing in the other. You still have a little bit of gate-to-gate shear on the south side of the storm, and there is just a little bit of an indication here that it is altering the storm shape. And what I mean by that is if we look, you can actually see there's a little bit of an indentation in this storm, but I don't mean to make a mountain out of a molehill with this one. At the same time, I do think that we're looking at a situation where this storm was, and I'll bring you back in time, fairly strongly rotating a short time ago. Here, if you prefer to see it, let me go ahead and set up a loop for you. And what I'll do is I'll go back in time just over the last 30 minutes or so. We'll do it in 1 minute intervals, and you'll see as the storm started to come up from the south, there it was, moving its way just west of Canopy Lake. If I were to switch things over and show you the storm relative velocity on the storm, and we go through the loop on that, you'll be able to see, look at that. You can see the red and the green very well defined, and I'll slow this down so you can see a little bit better. Just a short time ago, the reason I came up on this live stream, there it was. Look at this. So it was several scans in a row. You started picking up over Route 38 in Pelham, and then we go through just a little bit. Look at that gate-to-gate shear. This was at 2:23 p.m. with a timestamp in the upper left of the screen, and you can see this was lifting up near Pelham Road and coming over Range Road. If I go forward just one more minute or so, 2 more minutes in time, still that really well-defined gate-to-gate shear that was coming up near 111 and cross Route 93. And then as we head farther out in time, you'll be able to see there it goes. And now if you go to your current scan and see how things look, it's farther to the north. And again, still a little bit of gate-to-gate shear, certainly not like it was a short time ago when we first came up. So the reason I came up was because we had that, what you just saw there, that real tight turning of wind that was showing up. And so the question became, are we going to go any farther with that than it already has? Go over to the plane radar. And again, all that rotation's on the south side of the storm, which essentially now is coming up along Route 111 and just west of 111. It's going to come up over Gulf Road. And farther to the north, you got that real heavy rain that's over West Hampstead. You're going to be next to find the center of that kind of rotation underneath the storm. Again, right now, it is a weakened rotation, which is great news. But at the same time, I just want you to be aware that these storms do occasionally cycle. So if it ramps back up again, you're going to end up having a problem with that gate-to-gate shear again. The farther north it goes, the more it will tend to outrun some of the warmth that's in place. It's humid for everybody. It's warm for everybody, but it's not as warm as it is, for example, where the storm developed around the 495 belt and then lifted up across the Mass-New Hampshire border. So a couple of things will happen as it comes into that slightly cooler air. One is it will still maintain some rotating wind inside of it, but if it loses some of the available energy, you won't have as strong of an updraft and you won't have the same kind of uptick that happens nearly as quickly. All right, latest scan just came in. Let's just get a quick look at it here. Yep, you can see a little bit of separation going on now in the wind, which is great. So this is a lot different than it was even just 5-6 minutes ago when I first came up to be with you. We could get another look out of the gray main radar just to make sure that it looks exactly the same way. Stand by. There we go. And again, certainly there is a broad rotation inside the storm. There's a very small area that's got gate-to-gate signatures on it. And if we switch things over, a lot of that now is behind where you've got your storm showing up. So at this point, I think probably we're finding that the storm has at least weakened a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and come down off this live stream. But if it ramps back up again, if we find a different one that ramps back up, we'll be sure to come back up with you. You'll see the same notification you saw this time around. So that's how things are looking for now. Again, we'll keep you posted if anything big pops up. Grab the app if you haven't done it already. Noises 1 degree outside weather app. Noises 1 degree outside weather. You can search it on both the App Store or Google Play. So enable notifications. Make sure you've got that going and your location is enabled, or else it won't really do you any good. All right, that's how it looks for now. Look forward to seeing you again if we have to. Hopefully not.